Hi there, and welcome to this short video about higher technical qualifications. What we want to do today is do a quick overview of what NCFE has got to offer in September 2024 and have a think about why it's a little bit different to what's on the market at the moment. So let's dive right in. Higher technical qualifications, well, what are they? So level 4 and 5 education exists at the moment, but higher technical qualifications, as it says on the screen, are level 4 and 5 qualifications that map to occupational standards. That's those same occupational standards that apprenticeships are also mapped to as well. And what that means is that we have qualifications that map to the knowledge, skills, and behaviours in that standard and are delivered primarily through classroom-based activities. The reason why they are something a little bit more interesting, and much like level 3 and level 2 reforms at the moment as well, is that the landscape as it was previously wasn't delivering those skills that employers needed. So by mapping qualifications to occupational standards, we're creating qualifications that are directly allowing learners to enter the workforce specified roles on the occupational map. Now, where they sit in the overall landscape is a little bit interesting as well. So if we just have a quick look at the post-16 landscape at level 3 and above, including higher education in that as well, what we can see is that as a general concept, the government is looking to split the landscape in two between academic and technical. Now, academic qualifications are those whose primary purpose is to progress learners to the next level. That's these purple qualifications on the left here. That, of course, includes A-levels and degrees. Now, they are extremely knowledge rich in their content and delivery. Now, technical education, the green stuff over here, has the primary purpose of progressing learners into skilled employment or further technical training. In order to do that, their kind of general build of them is that they are more knowledge, skills, and behaviours focused, and they are employer led. That means we have to consult large numbers of employers in the design of the qualification. I imagine most people have heard of T-levels. TOCs are technical qualifications in sectors that don't have T-levels. And those, along with HTQs, are designed primarily to progress learners into the world of work. And all of those technical qualifications map to occupational standards. Now, HTQs don't have to be brand new. They can be existing qualifications which already map to standards. There are many mandatory qualifications in apprenticeships that are being utilised this way. But unfortunately, we want this to be a kind of a new and exciting development that will kind of boost the numbers of level 4 and 5 learners, because at the moment there's a great preponderance of people doing level 6 education, that's degrees, but there's not enough people coming out with workplace skills at level 4 and 5. So we want to do something a little bit interesting at level 4 and 5 to get those numbers up. Now, just in comparison with apprenticeships, because one of the questions might be, well, hang on, if technical qualifications are based around occupational standards and their knowledge, skills, and behaviours focused, why are they different to apprenticeships? Well, it's the delivery mode, really. Apprenticeships are primarily delivered in the workplace, and technical qualifications, including higher technical qualifications, are primarily classroom-based. There's a general rule of thumb of 80-20, so an apprenticeship being 80% in the workplace, 20% in the classroom. And many technical qualifications, you might expect to flip that ratio, 20% workplace experience and 80% classroom delivery. They don't have to be 80-20, they could be 100% classroom delivered with simulation used for quite a lot of the realistic workplace experience. But by and large, for a lot of HTQs, you would expect some form of work experience in there, just as you would with a T-level or a technical qualification as well. Now, of course, the worry here is that with HTQs, we want to create something new and exciting. Well, let's look at the HTQs that exist at the moment. There are currently 164 approved HTQs. And if we kind of break them up into the type of qualifications that have been approved, you'll see that 77 of those 164, so that's almost half of them, are old foundation degrees that have been just kind of shoved through the approvals process. Now, when I say they map to occupational standards, they don't have to map 100% to the standard. There's no particular threshold or red line that you have to get over. Some of them are as low as 2/3 mapping. So many of those old foundation degrees really aren't delivering against the standards they're mapped against. They're old qualifications and they're just being kind of re-brought up and put through this process to try and get them in. They don't really represent anything exciting or new on the landscape. Similarly, 47 of them, that's just over a quarter, are old higher national certificates and higher national diplomas. Again, nothing new about these things. They're being repurposed and thrown through the approvals process. And also, particularly with HNDs, these are generally very, very large qualifications designed to be taken over 2 years full-time study, and primarily with the purpose of topping learners up into bachelor's degrees. Well, that doesn't really go in line with the core purpose of an HTQ, is to get learners occupationally competent to go out into the workplace. So they don't really, again, align with what you expect from an HTQ. And then the final 40 are a kind of combination of old Cert HEs and DIP HEs, again, old qualifications being repurposed. And there's only a handful that are new and designed from the ground up to be an HTQ and to properly map to those occupational standards. So what we seek to do with ours is not to necessarily grab a load of old things and see if we can get them through. We are making sure that what we submit to IFA is of the highest quality, 100% maps to the standard, and anything new we make is built from the ground up to be an HTQ, not having some other purpose as many of the old qualifications have. So for September 24, we have 3 HTQs going live, hopefully with more following that in September 25, September 26. One of those is in early years and 2 are in the digital sector. They are both they're all 120 credits, which usually means 1 year delivery. And as we've written out there, we've got that core purpose of giving the knowledge, skills and behaviours to enter occupations, to have real labour market currency, and also to give this what we call credible, prestigious pathway. We want HTQs to be recognised as something important and exciting at level 4 and 5. Now, there's a slight difference between the early years qualification and the 2 digital ones. The early years qualification is an already existing qualification. It is currently the gold standard in this space as it is. We've just had it approved as an HTQ for this September. You can see there it's built around leadership and management in the early years sector. It's open to those who already work as early years educators. It has 100% mapping to the standard, and it meets the requirements of the DFE's EYE criteria. You can see it's a reasonably big qualification. That's 936 guided learning hours, and it has a mixture of internally assessed portfolio assessments and an externally set, internally marked assessment task as well. So this is probably an 18-month to 24-month qualification taken by learners who are already working in the early years sector. It sees widespread delivery at this point anyway, but the exciting aspect about it becoming an HTQ is it opens up new modes of funding available to learners rather than just advanced learner loans. It allows it access to higher education student finance. So hopefully we will see numbers increase on this. We think it will continue to remain the gold standard in this space, but a very exciting development that it now has HTQ funding. The digital qualifications are brand new. We built those from the ground up to be HTQs. Again, one in cybersecurity and one in data analysis, 2 areas that are in high demand in the economy all across the UK. Smaller qualifications at 510 learning hours. You would expect that to take no longer than 1 year full time, but of course there are part-time options available. And it's designed with a sort of small number of units, so 6 to 8 units, and they're designed to have fully internally assessed, externally quality assured portfolios. That means they are all centre devised assessments, And what that allows for is a real flexibility of delivery and simplicity of delivery. We don't want to create overly complicated, difficult qualifications to deliver. We want these to be straightforward for centres so that it allows more learners to pass through them and get into the workplace. With these digital qualifications, they do provide direct progression from our digital T-levels, but it's important to remember that there will be more than just T-level learners who will be looking to move onto these qualifications. They work very well for working age adults. They are available for modular funding and part-time funding. And also, given that they are fully internally assessed and can be delivered without a work placement, that means that they could be useful for distance learning and online delivery as well. So real flexibility available for centres there. Now, in terms of funding an HTQ, it's important to remember that there's a little bit of a mixture at the moment. So as it stands right now, level 4 and 5 education is funded by advanced learner loans and higher education student finance. From the current academic year, that's 23-24, all HTQs are available for higher education student finance just to OFS registered providers. That's the Office for Students. Now that will be true in September 2024. From September 2025, the Lifelong Learning Entitlement, the LLE, will be launched, which will essentially replace both advanced learner loans and student finance. And all HTQs will now be eligible for a loan entitlement for modular study or full-time study, again, for OFS registered providers. Now, if you are not an OFS registered provider, you don't need to worry just yet. The Advanced Learner Loan System will be carrying on for the next 3 academic years. So all the way to the academic year 26-27. For the academic year 27-28, it'll be turned off and the LLE will be the only mode of funding. So at that point, all centres will need to be registered with the Office for Students. But those centres, and particularly FE colleges who haven't got registration yet, that there is still plenty of time to get that sorted. So the Advanced Learner Loan System will continue to operate for the first 2 years of the LLE system. And so finally, it's just something to point out really is that if we think about the learners that are coming into this, and one of the reasons why we designed our HTQs to be very flexible, very simple, is that it's a broad church of learners who we're going to see going in. It would be wrong to assume that it's just T-level learners who are moving on to HTQs. You can see 2 examples in the top left there. We could have someone who did a 3 A-levels, someone who did a T-level in digital business services. These would likely be learners who are 19 years old, who've just done a 2-year college course at level 3. But you can see as we go around, we've got access to HE diplomas in computing are a perfectly sensible way in. That would be an adult who would be doing that. You could have someone who did the level 3 data technician apprenticeship moving on to it. That could be someone of any age. And similarly, it could just be someone with years of experience working in the IT industry who wants to retrain or upskill in some way. So we're going to have a mixture of young learners looking to specialize who've just come out of something like a T-level or A-levels. We're going to have older adults who've been working in industry for a long time who want to upskill, and there'll probably be people in their mid-20s who may well be doing access to HE, who've done apprenticeships. So there's going to be lots and lots of different people in these classes, and that's why simplicity is key. And particularly for working age adults, they do not have the time or resources to take enormous amounts of time off work to do a two-year full-time, 3-year full-time HE course. We want these to be small, bite-sized, modularly funded, and easy to deliver. And that's what we've tried to do with our HTQs. And that was a very whistle-stop tour, but if you go to our website displayed there, you can find more information, and also there will be a form on there that you can fill in, and one of our experts will be in touch to talk you through the approvals process and help you design a curriculum. Similarly, that's my email address there. Please feel free to drop me a line and I would be happy to get in touch and discuss this further with you. HTQs are a very exciting development as long as we think of them as something new and interesting and we don't worry about the legacy repurpose stuff. And NCFE sees this as a real opportunity to make a dent in the level 4 and 5 market and upskill the UK's workforce to beyond level 3, as it is in most places, and also as a chance to really meet local skills needs in those areas. So we'll be looking to develop more, but currently 3 going live for September 24. So please get in touch to find more. And thanks very much for listening.